moving.
Were they shaking?
Yes. Why were they shaking?
They were nervous.
No.
Somebody hit him.
No.
They were shaking.
Shaky hands.
You live in Missouri.
The wind.
Oh.
You said Missouri.
Earthquake.
Oh, earthquake.
Oh.
I live on the New Madrid fault line. So, yes, there is a fourth reason, earthquake. They were running in the middle of an earthquake.
Wow.
So that's why the wall is the same. They had it on a tripod. So the wall moved the same as the camera moved, but the hurdles did not. There you go. I get this photo too. It's kind of cool. It's got good motion and color to it, but it's not something we're probably going to use, right? What would have fixed this photo for us?
Higher shutter speed.
Faster shutter speed. You're exactly right. When shooting sports, get to know the sport you're shooting. Why?
So you know, like,
you know what to
when
expect.
Because you need to know what's going to happen
Where
next.
to be, when to get the good
Right.
photo too.
I've been shooting since I was 16 years old. I have never been fast enough to be reactionary. You're not either. You have to be able to be prepared for what's coming next. I've coached baseball for 10 years now. If I have a runner on first, my number 2 hitter up, less than 2 outs, there's a chance that guy's going to steal second. There's also a chance that we're going to ground into a double play. So you need to be ready at second base just in case, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's understanding what may happen next in each particular sport. And can you cover it? Do you have the lens to be able to cover it? Okay? We look at positioning. Positioning works a whole lot like shooting a gun. You need to have line of sight, or at least your camera needs to have line of sight. Okay? We talked about this before, the idea of continuous or one shot. So at one shot, this can't be moving and they can't be moving. But at servo, one of the two is moving and you're good, right? And then we talked about all focus. You never use all focus.
Can you use like the servo on someone who's standing still?
Absolutely you can.
Like, okay.
But the
Because if
problem,
you're wanting to take action pictures, but they
Yeah.
happen to stand still for a second.
right, you can
Okay.
absolutely. But the problem is if they stand still for very long, it's going to try and focus on many different things. So I use the example of portraits because that's the first thing that my kids learn how to shoot that's still. A lot of our girls love to wear sequined dresses. Okay? And in a sequin dress, it'll pick this sequin, and then that sequin, and then this sequin, and that sequin, and this one, and this. And eventually the camera doesn't know where to focus, so it starts focusing in and out, looking for something else. With one shot, it'll pick one point and stay right there. And that's it. Alright, so I'm assuming you guys have basketball. Everybody has basketball. You guys all know how to shoot. We all have one of those, right? Those are the 2 places that you shoot basketball from. That's it. I don't care who's there. I don't care if there's cheerleaders there. I don't care if there's fans there. I don't care if people paid $500 for tickets there. I don't care if they put a freaking cannon there. That's where you shoot basketball from. Why? Because 90% of all high school students are right-handed, and I want to be able to see back into them while they're shooting. I want to see them shooting layups. I want to see them whenever they drive the paint. I want to see them shooting jump shots and free throws and three-pointers. And if I'm on the other side of the goal, you're going to be blocked by that left elbow a lot. But on the right side of the goal, that's where you're shooting. Also, when they have a full court defense, I want to be able to see their face coming back at us because remember, faces sell. In a three-quarter court, I can stop them playing defense at a three-quarter court. And then for at least one half of the game, I'm going to be able to shoot my coach. Why is it important for us to shoot the coach?
Part of the team.
Because he's part of the team. Tells his story. And he's the only one at this school that his job depends on what?
Winning.
What happens if they lose? He gets to find a new job, right? Nobody's ever threatened me about baseball because nobody cares. But basketball season, if you don't win, what happens? You're gone. Volleyball can come and go. But basketball, you have to win or you're gone. Cover your coaches. Become very adept at shooting at that location. Once you master it, then you can play. Then you have my permission to use remotes.
And what do you mean by remotes? Yeah, I know, but like, what is a remote?
Oh, so let's take. Can I borrow your camera? So she's got a screw in here. Put a something on it, whether it's a magic arm or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Take it and attach it to a door,
Yeah,
a
yeah.
spindle, whatever.
Oh, then you hold
photographer holds the
meant
remote, fires.
something that clipped on, like not the camera, like
Oh, no.
hooked to that.
Nope,
Okay.
we'll put the camera up it, like for this one, we'll put the camera up in
I
the
was
ceiling.
making it more difficult for
Yeah,
them.
like the rim, that'd be
So put the camera up in the ceiling, fire back down.
Okay.
Looking for rebounds, looking for layups, looking for whatever. And then if you get really good at that, then you can go to other places and do like backboard camps. So notice, this is not us at home. This is us on the road. This is another school that has us come in and do this for them.
Oh wow.
And we get the images and they get the images. So we could use all of ours and they can use all of theirs.
How many cameras have you broken using remotes?
I know, that's.
looks like sugar.
Never.
How does the basketball not hit the camera?
Because it's
Right.
behind the glass. You don't shoot on the backside of the glass. If you do, you're really bad at basketball.
Yeah.
And you tighten it, you use a magic arm so they connect here, and then when the glass moves, it moves with it. But you tighten it down so that it doesn't fall off,
Okay, I'm imagining basketball.
and we use
goal,
safety cables.
And the camera is like this.
Yep. So here, think about it this way, okay? This is your goal. This is the side that they're playing on.
Uh-huh.
This is the back side,
Uh-huh.
okay? There is always a bar or a beam
Uh-huh.
or something right back here that we can clamp to, and then run our magic arm up and down through that glass. So we're shooting down through the glass.
Through the glass.
Yes.
Well, I
So
would think
there's
your
glass
picture would be.
Mm-hmm.
I think your picture would be all
Blurry.
dirty or blurry or something.
Clean the backboard. You build a little dojo so you don't get the light leak through it, but we still got a little light leak. There's still just a little light leak down there. But yeah.
Okay.
A lot of ADs don't like it, but I actually wrote the mission policy on it. So like Misha says that we can do this because of me.
When I tried to do it, they
Mhm.
said they was afraid it was.
Hi, my name's Carter. I wrote the law. Just keep it outside.
There you
Keep it
go.
outside of the box.
Yeah.
You know the white box on the backboard. Keep it outside of the white box.
Okay.
You cannot have any lights on it. It can't flash, and it can make no sound. But other than that, go for it.
So when you use a remote, cameras don't make sounds?
Well, the
You
click,
just shut it off.
the shutter will
Oh,
fire,
oh yeah, yeah.
but you
Okay.
can't like make it beep when it
Uh-huh.
fires or something like that.
Uh-huh.
But that's
Yeah.
basketball.
Middle of a free throw, just like start making it beat.
Yeah, exactly. Baseball or softball? Obviously, we either want the action coming at us or moving sideways with us. I have students that aren't fast enough to get out in front of a baseball, so they look for something like a backswing. Okay, watching the ball as it's flying out, sitting on somebody when the ball's coming to them. Daisy would kill me if she saw this photo. I forgot that
So
one
is
was in
this
there.
a one? This is SIVA or
Servo.
servo.
Yep, servo. All sports.
All
Servo.
sports are
All
servo.
sports. You want a challenge to leave here with today? Try to capture a baseball on a bat.
That was gonna be my,
They-
hopefully my photo I turned in.
They say the hardest thing in sports to do is to hit a round ball with a round bat. No. The hardest thing in sports to do is to capture someone hitting a round ball with a round bat. This is Matt Adams during his second year with the Cardinals. He actually hit the ball out of the ballpark there. But you're looking for that timing, just like we were talking about. I can teach you how to do everything, but timing is on you. That's what separates good photographers from great photographers is timing.
So if you have that continuous clip, don't you think you'd be good at that?
No, because that you're talking about a fraction of a second.
Yeah.
So every time I shoot something like that, it's usually my first frame because it's what I'm looking for.
Uh-huh.
Now I'll hold it down so that I can get the rest of the swing through and everything else. But that first frame is that ball on bat. Or dive. Now, in sports, it's something different than news or anything else. There's no redos. Okay? So this was during our county tournament. I was coaching. I'm in the dugout. My photo corps of 4 students are behind home plate and they're covering all outfield and infield. Ball flies out to center field. Scheidler comes out, dives for the catch, rolls, gets up and throws the ball into second base. Dugout goes crazy. About 45 seconds later, I look over and my 4 photon corps are going crazy because Liza captured this image. The one that I told you guys earlier that the image size was about the size of the TV, but the photo is about this big. That's that image.
Oh.
And took the corner. Yeah.
Yep. Yes,
What
ma'am.
kind of lens do you have to have?
That
to
was a
get
304. The length on it was quite exactly the same as she's holding in her hand.
It's a what'd you say? A 300?
A 300 f4. So that one's actually a 4556, I think. But as far as distance, it's the same.
So So this says 300, so
Yep.
I could capture that photo
You could
from the stands.
from the stands up against the fence.
Sweet.
Yep. You just have to know how to do it. Be ready for it. You
But just
can't.
imagine if you was down.
You just have to be ready for it.
Okay.
Looking for outfield plays, and then shoot your coaches. Pay attention to what your coaches are doing because, yes, we're still part of the game. For baseball, there are 6 shooting locations. There are 4 behind home plate, and there are 2 off to the sides. Again, I wrote the mission policy on this. If you are a credentialed member of the media, you can go on the field, but they have to have a squared off box for you, and I don't have my creds on. They have to have a squared off box for you on one side or the other, or both. If you have media credentials, you can show them to the umpire, and the umpires will let you stay because they know that you can be there. Otherwise,
get
you're
those?
behind the fence. For my staff, it's either 300 hours of shooting or 1,000 hits on Jostens, which Jostens is our printing company. Basically, you have to go through the whole program for 1 year so that you understand what you're doing. And then I'm a member of the Missouri Press Association, so I have the ability to credential my staff.
Because I would like to shoot wrestling pictures down on the floor at state, then I think you have to have.
You do,
Okay.
but you can request them through mission. Are you a teacher or a parent or?
Parent.
Yeah, good luck.
Okay. Good luck.
If you were a teacher, you would have a better shot. If you're a student, you have an even better shot.
Okay.
Yeah.
But parent, yeah, good luck.
That's what I did for track, which I substitute teach here all
Yep.
the time and have a
Oh,
school
yeah.
address. I
Yep.
think that's why I was
Oh,
probably.
Yep.
so if you're a substitute teacher, you can maybe get it?
Well, I don't know. I mean,
If
I
they'll
have
let, if
school
your
email.
if your AD will let you go through them, then it's really easy to do.
Oh, yeah.
So whoever your AD
That's
is.
how you-
Okay.
Yeah.
You're looking for something different in every sport. You're looking for something different.
Okay, cool.
Very rarely does a catcher come out and go prone with the ground when he's trying to throw a guy out. Okay.
Right.
Obviously, he dropped the ball, but it's something different.
Full extension.
Full extension, fully laid out.
That's Will.
But you know what? Yeah, he missed the play. Oh well. So you're looking to tell those stories. All right. This is Scheidler. This is in the 6th inning, 6th of 7. He's throwing a no-hitter. His two-seamer was deathly that day. So when you throw a two-seam fastball, you throw it straight for about 56 feet, and then it dives down and in on a right-handed batter, and they hit over the top of it. It's a ground ball to shortstop. Okay? He did that all day long. He threw a no-hitter that day. As you can tell on his arm how much torque and force he's using with his arm. And then I and the photog had to quite literally run off the field, get in the car, and drive to Bush because he was shooting the Cardinals that night. 16 years old. He shot our ball game, and then he shot the Cardinals. Guys, if my kids can do this, you guys can do this too. It's just learning how. Okay? It's learning how to shoot in tight to tell stories, and then it's doing this. This is Austin. This was my first year of coaching. It was my first year of teaching. They hadn't beaten Advance in I don't know how many years. Game 0-0, we only play 6 innings in junior high baseball. Ground ball, bottom of the 6th to the shortstop. Shortstop picks the ball up, throws it over first base, and this is Austin turning and looking at the ball, right? I'm on third base coaching. You can see my legs in the background. And I'm screaming at Austin. Run, Austin, run! So Austin gets up and runs to second base. Now I have a photog on first base who captures this image. First baseman grabs the ball, throws it into left field. So what am I telling Austin? Run. Come on, Austin, run all the way through. Comes through, he hits third, he goes home, he scores. They come out, like throw bottles of water on him, pick him up, and carry him off because we beat Advance 1-0. And for a moment, I'm thinking, you know what? This is going to be some incredible art. It's going to look great. No. Because her name's Megan. Her name's Megan. Megan is her name. It's Austin's sister. Guess what she stopped doing?
She was screaming.
She was cheering
Yeah.
for freaking Austin.
That'd be me.
Yeah, that.
And I'm still not unhappy about it. I'm very happy that she did. 12 years later. Because we don't have that art. Because we can't go back. We have to capture it in the moment that it happens. You cannot drop your camera. If you are shooting for a game, for me, you're not a fan anymore. I take your fandom away from you. You are now a journalist. Now, if you want to walk off the field and put the camera down, you can go sit in the stands and cheer all you want.
Okay, you don't have to say.
But if you're on the field, you're shooting and you're not cheering. Or just bring me the camera and be done. Because we can't go back. I don't care if you win a state championship. I don't care if you lose a state championship. You have to keep shooting. Even after the play's over, keep shooting, because you never know what you're going to come up with. You don't know what is going to happen. Volleyball. For years and years and years, the Associated Press has told us to shoot volleyball from the back. Well, I have a 3 B's rule in my class for our book. You guys know what the 3 B's rule is?
No buts.
That's 1.
Back,
That's 2.
No
let's
more.
back and let's
Yep.
move or bullshit.
I wish. Bellies.
Bellies, there you go.
So I'm a 43-year-old guy. They look at me and say, "You put the yearbook out. How dare you put my daughter's butt in the yearbook?"
Right.
Even if it's from another school. So we can't shoot from the back, because here I have 1, 2, and 3 butts. Right?
I'm a woman and I'm like,
See?
nobody wants to see a butt.
There you go.
See their butt in the
If
yearbook.
I shoot from the side, I'm still getting side profile of butt. Okay? So for us, we can't shoot there because our gym doesn't go high enough to be able to shoot over, and our girls can't get their head over the net anyway. So we have to shoot from somewhere else. For us, we can't shoot from the back. We shoot from right there. It's right there at the edge, shooting back into what's happening. We're looking for faces. We're looking for teamwork. We're looking for digs. We're looking for everything else that would be peak action. Even something like this that's a little wider than we normally would, but the reason that we use that is because of the night that it is. You guys realize what night that's taken on?
Look out.
It's Dig Pink Night, right? Jerseys are pink, balls are pink, hair's pink, socks pink, and they're taking up money for breast cancer. So we tell that story, but we make sure we still have peak action as we go. Okay? Looking at stopping the ball, freezing the performers, telling their stories. Now, the other thing to remember is lighting can change majorly from gym to gym. Okay? This is in our gym. That's 2 sisters. That's Katie, who's a senior, who's a libero, and Paige, who's her sister, who's a freshman. Okay? They're working together. It's about the best those 2 ever worked together. But the lighting on it's decent, right? The next night we play in a gym in Southeast Missouri that they have blue walls and play with blue chairs and blue balls and blue lines and blue everything in that gym. And her lighting is just horrible. The color on Paige is horrible. And then the next night we go to Gideon and it's back to normal. Realize that there may come a time that you have to shoot in a gym that the lighting is just terrible. And you're going to have to do your best. You may have to shoot a little higher on your ISO, and you may incur a little grain just so that you can freeze the action. Or, her face may be that pale white just so that you can do everything else that you need to do. Sometimes you have to work out of your have to. But I would much rather have that if I possibly can. Look for things that happen throughout the sport. And volleyball, probably more than any other sport, they celebrate. At least our girls do. Because we don't score a lot of points. So when we do score points, they have a tendency to cheer. When we win a set, they really cheer. So you're looking for something like this. I have the athletes cheering, right? And then you have the bench and the coaches cheering. And then you have the fans cheering. This is called layering in photography. I'm able to layer in the sport. Not only am I covering my athletes, I'm covering my bench, I'm covering my fans, I'm covering everybody. Tell stories with your photography. This is a high school senior and a high school freshman who would never have been friends otherwise. They wouldn't have had anything to do with each other except for on the volleyball court. So look to tell those stories. So do you guys have football but you don't cover football?
We
can
do,
take pictures.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so everybody has one of these. Stay outside of the 25s. What happens in here?
Team.
That's where the team goes. That's where if you're under 6'4" and 300 pounds, you get to die. Stay out of there. They will run you over. Okay? Otherwise, stay 5 to 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage or 10 to 15 yards in front of the line of scrimmage. The reason for that is you can get things like an end around here, where they run the ball and it comes around one side or the other.
If you have a better lens.
You can cover an audible from 5 to 10 back or 10 to 15 in front. Yes, because you have to have at least a
Yeah,
300.
yeah.
At least a 300.
Ours are pretty far away.
How are you doing your lighting with that?
Just whatever the lighting is.
So yours isn't up at night?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Now some of the stuff is like first quarter, some of it's third quarter, that's fourth quarter. I'm just using the stadium lights. So that's a 3-step drop, hike 1, 2, 3 back, and I'm 5 to 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Then they meet right there in front of me. If you go to high school, chances are you go to school with a football plan. You could ask the quarterback, hey, who's your favorite receiver? Because on 3rd and long, who's he most likely to pass to? The guy with the good hands. So you set on him when the play starts. And you track him down. And as the ball comes in, you fire. That should be the easiest sports football photo of anybody. And yet high school students can't take that most of the time. Because they can't figure out how to shoot around the car wreck of all of the guys up front running into each other. So look at ways to be able to capture good, clean art, even on the football field. Okay? This one's an interesting one. We're good at covering pregame, right? You guys are good at pregame for any sport? Basketball, whatever? Okay. This is Jake. Jake played high school football for 4 years. He played junior high football for 3 years. And he played elementary football for 3 years. How long has Jake been playing football?
A long time.
10 years. He's the team captain. He's the one that leads them out on the field. He's the one that breaks through the banner first. How good are we at telling Jake's story? As a yearbook advisor or yearbook student?
10 times.
Huh? We're really good at telling his story, right? We know who he is. Big man on campus. This is his sister Alicia. She's cheered for Jake for 4 years of high school and 3 years of junior high and 3 years of elementary. How good are we at telling her story? Not the best. Why?
Because she's not the star.
Because she's a cheerleader. Of the two of them, one of them got a full ride for athletics to college. And it wasn't Jake. It was her. And we missed it. We didn't tell the story when we could have. Keep your head on a swivel when you cover sports. Cover everybody when you cover sports. Look in the crowd. You guys ever been to a Mizzou game? You know how they are. Cover the crowd. Oh, and by the way, when you shoot sports, there's another team involved. It might not be your team, but it's somebody else's team, so they may like the art too. Heaven forbid Tina-Avalon ever plays Richland. Because guess what would happen? We would shoot you guys the same as we shoot us. And I would call you the next day and say, hey, I've got basketball art of you guys. Do you want some? Who's going to say no? Even if it sucks. Sure, send it to us. Let's see if we can fit it in somewhere. I can't tell you how many different schools I've done that with. Whenever we started playing we won our first districts in like 25 years or 28 years or something. And we went to sectionals. The school sectionals has a yearbook, but they don't have any cameras. It's all on their phones. So she calls me and she goes, hey, I know you guys know how to shoot. Can you send an extra shooter and just get some art for us? Heck yeah! You're going to give us an extra pass on you guys to come in and shoot basketball? You better believe it. So we did. We did it all the way through the quarterfinals. Just to be able to share art with other schools. And guess what that does? It makes friends. You get to know somebody somewhere else. You guys get to know other students from other schools and other girls. Can't hurt, man, I'm telling you. Pay attention to that. Because I do a whole lot of these workshops, and believe it or not, I know a lot of advisors throughout the state of Missouri. So if we're playing your team, I'm going to assign one of my kids to you so that I can send you art. So you have it as well as us. In football, if the ball's in the air, you're shooting. General rule. Ball's in the air, you're shooting. It's just how it is. Also shoot Payne. He didn't see this coming. This was a lookout kind of deal because his left tackle didn't block. That's him catching a defensive end pretty quick. And cover your coaches. Tell their story, whether it's completely across the field or you're shooting down the sideline. Oh, and your mascots. If you guys have a dragon mascot, tell their story. Now, you may not know who they are till the end of the year. It may be a surprise when it comes out in the yearbook. But interview them because they get to see the perspective of something completely different than your normal person. And shoot anything else around you. So I had a student that was interviewed to go to Mississippi State on a journalism scholarship. They offered him to come and shoot a football game to see what he could do for them. And that was part of his interview. Cool, let's go. So we go to Mississippi State and we shoot football. Any of you guys know anything about Southeastern Conference, Mississippi State football in general?
Not good.
Are they good? No.
No.
I think they won 2 games last year, and they
Yeah.
were both like Title II schools, or I don't know, maybe the School for the Blind or somebody like that. They beat them. Okay. Anyway, we went, shot them, and they played Norfolk State Southern somebody. Okay, and they won because they're playing a high school team. We didn't think anything about it. Parker got decent art, so we went back to school. About 2 months later, I get a phone call from a buddy of mine at Sports Illustrated. Hey Carter, did you guys go down and shoot the Mississippi State Norfolk Southern game? Because I'm pretty sure I saw you on the sideline. We did. I had a kid interviewing down there. Oh, do you guys have any pictures of number 15 for Mississippi State, their backup quarterback? I'm sure we do. Why? He goes, we want to buy one. We need one for the book for next week. Okay. $500 if you can find one. Cool. I have no idea who this kid is. I have no idea what the story is. But Parker sends it in. He gets the $500 from Sports Illustrated, and his photos in Sports Illustrated the next week.
Wow.
Any of you guys know who the Cowboys are?
It's Dak.
It's Dak Prescott. That's who it is. We didn't know who he was at that point because he played for Mississippi State. Nobody cared. But suddenly they did. We have art of it. Guys, I have art of all kinds of students like that.
So what about the permission thing of like,
Reading credential?
yeah, well, like if you take a photo of someone and post it on anywhere,
Mm-hmm.
you can get in trouble, right? If you
No.
don't have their permission?
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
Complete BS.
Okay.
Now, if you are in a public location, if we're in here and I take a photo of every one of you guys and post it on my Facebook page, you have no say whatsoever.
Okay.
Why? Because you're on public ground. Welcome. If I shoot a basketball game and I catch Katie in the background in the stands, she can't throw a fit. Now, there are a lot of people who try to protect that. There are a lot of people who don't want to do it just because they may have issues with it. But legalistically, you got nothing. You showed up in public. If you show up to a game that has 60,000 people, you don't have any rights whatsoever. You give them up when you buy the ticket. It'll say it on the back of your ticket.
Okay.
Way it goes. Now, if it's something private, that's an entirely different issue. But if you're on public ground, nah.
So tell us, what do you shoot that picture with then?
That, go back. That one?
Yes.
Oop, let me think. What did we take with us that day? He had a 402.8 and he
I
had
mean,
a.
like the low.
Hmm?
Like the low.
Yeah.
f-stop?
So that's an f3.2, shutter speed of probably 2,000th of a second, ISO of about 400 to 560, somewhere in there.
Okay.
Yep. So fast enough to freeze the action.
Okay.
He's overexposed just a little bit because you can tell he's got a little too much white down there, but you do it so that you get his face because he's a darker guy. Yep. That's how you do
Would
it.
you have shot that on the AV?
Yeah,
or
he
whatever
shot it
the-
on AV. Guaranteed he did. Yep. And then remember that your photos can have an impact. I mean, your photos can have a very long-lasting impact. Who are these guys? Any idea?
Coaches?
Yep. They are the head coaches for the University of Alabama and the University of Tennessee. In 2005, both contacted the NCAA within like 36 hours of each other and threw a fit to the NCAA that the other school was trying to pull recruits away from their school. I am an Alabama fan. I'm a huge Alabama fan. I can't stand the University of Tennessee. I stay out of Knoxville. I can't wear orange. There you go. You've had it. But at the same time, I'm a journalist and I can be objective. This game's at UT, so I had to go shoot it at UT. This is our head coach and their head coach at the 50-yard line laughing before kickoff. I didn't think about it. I didn't. I shot it. I went back in and edited. I sent it out on the wire, and then I went back and I shot the game. 3 days later, Sporting News, back when Sporting News published every week, they had this 1.5 full pages in the magazine, and they're talking about how these two fan bases that hate each other so much, and their two coaches are standing at the 50-yard line laughing. Within 72 hours, both coaches were fired.
Why?
I'm dead serious. Because they were having horrible seasons anyway, and they were looking for a reason. Within 72 hours, both coaches were fired.
Because they were laughing?
Yep. Because their fan bases hate each other that much. Now, what you don't know is that the next year, Alabama hired a new head coach. His name was Saban or something, and won
Something
like
like that.
5 national championships. I'm not saying I had anything to do with that, but
But they
I may have gotten both coaches fired. All right.
Personal, thank you. I mean, come on.
Yeah. But do remember that your images do matter and that they do tell stories. And if you are not very careful with that story, it's amazing what can happen. Okay? Now, you guys may have other sports, we have other sports, but I want to show you guys how we cover other sports. I've said it several times, we always want faces. We want the action coming at us, no matter what you're looking at, no matter what's happening. I want it in context so that I can see what's happening around us. While these two are fighting with the pugil, I don't know what our principal is doing over there, but she's having fun, whatever it is, okay? Yes, we shoot clay team. So they will not let me put a student out front of them so that they can shoot over the student's head. I don't know why, but I can put a camera out there. And so far, we've never shot a camera.
If we're shooting the camera, there's an issue.
Agreed.
I'm a coach, so
But
I say that.
but I had one shoot a trap house a couple of years ago and scared the living pee out of me.
Am I?
It's like, how do you hit the trap house? Anyway,
Yeah, Robbie shot the trap house.
we talked about timing before, okay? Every camera has what's called lag. From the time you press the button to the time that it actually takes the photograph. If you're able to time your lag perfectly, then you can get that ball coming off of the fingertips for a jump shot. If you can time your lag perfectly, you can get the pellets coming out of the gun as she's shooting out of clay. Guys, she was a freshman when she took this. Took her about 800 frames to actually get it. But that's what she wanted that day. She wanted pellets coming out of the gun. So she did. What day is it? What day is it? I mean, it's clay team meet, obviously, right?
It's probably Saturday.
But look a little deeper. It is Saturday. But what day is it?
Prom.
It is prom.
The nails.
She
Oh.
won a clay meet that morning and then won prom queen that night. She is a beast. And oh, by the way, when her shell ejected, about half the time the gunpowder wouldn't burn out completely, so it would like throw flares of fire out. Yeah. You look for that kind of stuff while you shoot. Look to tell those stories, even if it's just dodgeball in the gym. Okay? Or, I don't know, cheese balls in the gym. You look to tell those stories. Remember, Jenga doesn't buy yearbooks, but Sabrina's mother does. So you focus on Sabrina, right? You tell her story. If you ever get the chance to pie a coach or a teacher in the face, there's several ways to do it, and there's several ways to take photos of it. This is an interesting one. At least you get Clinton's face, and you get the crowd and whatever. But if you get in closer, and you get up right up next to him, you can get better art that way, right? Get on his level. One of the very first things that I learned when I became a teacher is not everything happens at the level of a 6'4" guy. When my daughter was in kindergarten, I gave her a camera for the day, and do you know what I learned? I learned that her kindergarten teacher, who is 5'1", by the way, is also 6'4", because she looks up all day long. That's all she does is look up. The perspective from other people sometimes is the most impressive thing you'll find. Tell stories from their perspective, not yours. Look for different ways to tell stories. What sport does he play? You immediately know, right? It's either baseball or baseball or football, one of the two, because he's outside and he's got the big lights. She said that photography was in her soul. That the only thing she cared about was the exposure meter and color. Because honestly, what is photography? It's light and color. That's it. This was one of her senior photos. Tell those stories. If you find a guy named Plant, and he has the ability to plant a left hand into somebody's face, and he wears a dress in the ring, tell those stories. Every year, my editor gets a wish. They can wish to cover one thing, and I will get them in, or I will do everything I can to get them in. This year it was boxing, so we covered a heavyweight championship fight in Nashville. It's part of what I do. Guys, start telling stories with your images. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's music. We cover a lot of concerts, from Nelly to Chris Jensen. You name them, we've probably covered them at some point or another. Look at telling their stories. We cover the blues, especially when the blues are in the playoffs. Look for that. Look for Taekwondo. Look for anything that makes your school or that particular person special or different. They probably don't know it. They don't wear their black belt around school. But they are. It's what they do outside of school. So tell those stories as well. But make sure you're getting out front. Make sure you're seeing it. Even if it's your daughter in gymnastics. Okay? You're looking at telling everybody's story throughout the school. And then you're looking at storytelling. Not just how to do that, but like this. This was the #1 news photo in the state of Mississippi in 2005. Anybody have a clue why? Where are we? Use your context clues. Where are we?
Court run.
We're in court. Why are we in court?
Man in the yellow did something bad.
Getting these handicapped maybe?
Maybe.
Can't walk.
In 1964, Goodwin, Cheney, and Schwerner were murdered by COFO members in Mississippi, in Neshoba County, Mississippi, outside Philadelphia. In 2005, Edgar Ray Killen was brought up on murder charges, the first one in 41 years to go to court on murder charges for the killings of Goodwin, Cheney, and Schwerner. The first time he went to court, he walked in, suit and tie. Second time he came in, he's in this. And he tells the judge, "Judge, I was in a logging accident. It broke both my legs and my right arm. I can't testify. I'm an old man. Just send me home to die." Judge Gordon tells him, "You're going to do what you can." So in like every movie that you've ever seen, what is he doing? The judge says what? Raise your right hand. So he raises his right hand as best he can. Swear to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help me God. He drops his right hand, and when he does, he hits a microphone that's right there beside him and knocks the microphone to the ground. And he bends over and he picks up the microphone and he puts it back in place. I never said he was smart. If he would lie about breaking his arm, would he lie about murder? Yeah. Guilty. Second degree. 20 years back to back to back. He died in jail a few years ago. I had the in-court work for it. I did the in-court work on that. So I've had everything from USA Today to about 12 languages that I can't read published in from that one court trial. So it's learning to tell those stories. You guys probably don't remember this play. It was a play up the left sideline. It was a pass from Florida going up to number 18. Mike Williams from Auburn hops over the top and knocks it away with 1:10 left. Sports Illustrated used it just like this, because if he catches the ball, it's a touchdown. But if he drops the ball, well, Auburn gets the ball back. Now, here's the thing. Florida had a quarterback that some of you may have heard of before, but he wasn't really that good. When the pass dropped, they pulled him, and they put in their backup quarterback, some left-handed southpaw dude named Tim Tebow. If Mike Williams doesn't break up this pass, there is no Tim Tebow, because he never gets to play at Florida. Chris Leak keeps the job. Being able to tell stories with your photographs and go back to that particular moment when something changes is what we do. We call her Wonder Woman. She's taking off her legs so that she can play sled hockey. I'll repeat that. She's taking off her legs. She had her legs damaged in a covert military operation in Korea. And then she paid to have them removed so that she can play sled hockey for the USA women's team. This is Moxie. Moxie is her dog. Christy has epileptic seizures from time to time. And when she does, she'll lay on her back. Moxie will come over and put her paw on Christy's chest. One, to tell Christy that she's going to be okay. And two, to tell you to leave Christy alone, because she's going to be okay. That's how well trained, that's how good of a dog Moxie is. We had the opportunity to work for the USA sled hockey women's team for a weekend in St. Louis. We rebuilt their website for them. We built them 3 hype videos because USA Hockey did not fund them. They had to fund themselves. They had to pay for their own airfare, they had to pay for their own jerseys, they had to pay for their own sleds, their own pucks, everything. And I had a group of students that didn't think that was right. So I had 35 students from 5 different high schools that helped us rebuild their website for them. They also gave them a video that they could take to the International Olympic Committee, the IOC in Oslo, and we'll be presenting that, trying to get women's sled hockey as an official disabled sport for gold medals and get it out of the world system. We'll see. But it was really cool to be able to take students to work for them. Something you don't get to do every day. These guys threw a double no-hitter. Both pitchers threw a no-hitter at the same time. Guy on the left lost 1-0 because of an error on a walk. Lost 1-0 and both teams threw a no-hitter. You guys tell me, safe or out?
Oh.
Safe. His foot's not all the way down.
Foot's not on the back.
I mean, yeah, out.
Uncalled or safe, cost them the district championship. Ran it 3-column on the front page the next day. Ump hated me. Oh well, way it goes. Camera doesn't lie most of the time. Guys tell stories with photographs. I was in Seattle. I was shooting for the Mariners. I had sat down. I had 45 minutes before the game started. I still see my meal in front of me. Looked kind of like what you had right there. And I get a phone call from my superintendent. Hey Frank, how are you? I'm doing all right. This was after my first year of teaching. I'm doing all right. What are you up to? I'm shooting the Mariners tonight in Seattle. Oh, cool. Frank, why are you calling me? Oh, yeah. You know John Siebert? 4th grader John Siebert? John Siebert, that whenever I went down every Thursday when I would see him 6th hour, he'd go, Mr. Carter, I gotta go pee right now. Yep, that John Siebert. What about him? Well, he died today. Okay, what happened? So, well, he was riding his bike off of 6 Mile Hill, and his brakes failed. I said, and he ran out on the Highway 60, didn't he? Yep. He said, and a semi hit him going 75 miles an hour. Said, the wreck was so complete that it's going to have to be a closed casket. Like they were picking up gray matter for about a quarter of a mile. Okay? So, Frank, I don't mean to be insensitive, but why are you calling me? I mean, I only had him for an hour a week. He said, well, you know their house burned at Christmas. I said, yeah, I know. We took up clothes and food and all kinds of stuff. And he said, they don't have any photos for John's casket. Did your yearbook staff happen to catch any photos of him? Is there a way that you can print one for his casket? Sure. So I called Mike. Hey, Mike, you got 45 minutes to get here. You're shooting the Mariners tonight. I sit down with my laptop, not that one, but my laptop. Open it up, go to our website, pull every photo that I can find of John, throw it into Photoshop, and I build this. And I send it to a buddy of mine who owns a print shop in St. Louis. And I call my editor, because we were only been out of school about 2 weeks. And I said, hey, Beth, I'll be by to pick you up at 10 o'clock in the morning. You're going with me. She goes, where are we going? Not telling you. So I go to the print shop in St. Louis, or I fly back to St. Louis. I pick it up. I go down, I pick up Beth, and we go to his mom's house. And Christy's at the door. And she looks at me and she just breaks down. She said, Kyle, I don't know what you can do. She said, I lost John yesterday. I said, I know you did. I said, but I have something for you. It was a 24 by 36 of John. She opens it up and she says, I lost my son yesterday. And you were able to give me a part of him back. She said, we're going to use this on his casket. That's fine. My entire yearbook staff will be there and we will be in uniform. So we all have t-shirts that we all get every year. So we all wore our t-shirts sat together at the funeral. Guys, we cover life every day. That's what we do. I've lost 4 students while teaching in 12 years. I've also lost 2 that I didn't have in class but that were younger. 2 years ago, I got to preach the funeral for my son's best friend. He died of cancer. We knew it was coming. We were prepared for it, but you're never prepared. You can't have enough art. His mom called me right at the end, and she said, I got 2 requests for you. She said, 1, I want you to do the funeral. I'll be glad to. She said, 2, we need some photos of Kyron, because I don't really have a lot. Do you guys have any photos of Kyron? Okay. He's my son's best friend. What do you think? She said, okay, well, just bring him, because we had got out of school for a day. We had his funeral in the gym. We littered the gym with photos of him. We had almost 3,000 photos of Kyron. throughout that gym. That's what we do, guys. We capture life. So make sure you understand that when we start doing what we do. Now, we go from that to my definition of a bad day professionally. When a man can make you break your own nose and knock yourself out. Yeah, not good. But fun. Shoot anything that happens around you. You can only get better by shooting. Look for ways to use your art. We do ours through ads. If you go through our book, you'll see a bunch of our photography in our ads because we use it in our ad section. And then tell your story as well. This was Daisy shooting that boxing match that I was telling you guys about. You guys might know who he is. Anybody? Seriously?
Oh,
He looks
yeah.
familiar, but I don't know.
It's
the name.
dark.
It's Garth.
Yeah.
That's Garth?
That's Garth. And that's my editor.
Oh, wow.
So that was before his world tour kicked off in Memphis.
That's Garth Brooks.
I thought it
It's
said
Garth
Garth.
Brooks.
He looks
Yeah.
different or something. Yeah.
That's him. It's the beard.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep, that's him.
'Cause I love Garth.
So there's your rodeo. Guys, cover you doing what you do. That's Katie at Ole Miss a few years ago. That's me and Kate at Mizzou whenever we shot Mizzou. So anywhere you go, anything that you do, tell your story as well.
Is that the camera set up above the...
Yeah, that was our remote from upstairs. Then that's Liza at Bush. So telling those stories, that's the one through the backboard glass at Edmonds. Looking for some way to tell your story along with everybody else's. And then what I would encourage you to do is find a new angle or find something different. I want you to start looking at magazines, looking at websites, looking at how the pros are doing things. Because two things are going to happen. One, you're going to get better because you're going to understand where this angle is. This angle's not directly over the basket. This angle's off to the side, right? You understand that he's using multiple light sources because look, 1 shadow, 2 shadow, 3 shadow, 4 shadow, 5 shadow. Start breaking down images to say, how can we get better? What can we do? And then start creating it on your own. Looking for your art to look like the pros are. She's a freshman, guys. Freshman shot that this year at district. So looking to tell stories a different way. Yeah. What do you guys think? What's the story with this one? Obviously it's me. She's using leading lines. Where is she leading you to? Where are your leading lines leading you?
Your baseball
To
field?
your face.
Some hands.
Got one that's leading in this way and one that's leading down this way. Where's it leading you to?
Hands.
To my hands. Two things on my hands. Wedding ring, obviously there's a story there, but that scar. That's the story that she's wanting you to tell. That's the story that a lot of my students tried to capture for a long time. And I don't have it anymore. But I had it for about 10 years. Was telling the story of that scar. This was COVID graduation. You guys remember that one? Did you guys have graduation that year? Do it in the parking lot?
We did it in August when for sure it was late.
And we just did it late, yeah.
Okay. That's our graduation in May in the parking lot. When I say we're out in the middle of a field, we really are. Like those are grain bins right across the street from our school.
Were the parents sitting in the car?
Yep. And I have an AM transistor radio we were able to broadcast out on. They could keep their windows up and they could listen to it in their car with the AC on. So it's just learning how to tell those stories. It's looking for something different. This is the front view, right? That's him with the ball coming to him, but you can see Alejandro. That's the back view. That's behind him with the ball coming at him. We had a photog on both sides. So it's telling that story. It's going to a staff senior softball game and continuing to shoot. Looking for your history teacher trying to jump over your center fielder and get to third. I don't know why, but he broke his leg on it. We thought it was hilarious. Yep. Best quote I've ever had in a yearbook too, because we had that one in the yearbook that year. And I very, very rarely ever allow an expletive in my yearbook. But when it comes from a history teacher and he's talking about his own stupidity, I'm gonna let him. He said, Paul, to my own head, what the hell are you doing? You're 42 years old. Why are you trying to do this? You're an idiot. Sure enough, he was. Tell stories. This was our daddy-daughter dance. This was Jacob's daughter's first outing, if you will, as his daughter. She's the girl that never wins. She's never cute enough. She's never pretty enough. She's not girly enough. Yet she won. We were covering band, and we ended up with an environmental portrait out of it. Some kids aren't designed to shoot sports, but they can shoot other things. They've got eyes for other things. Anybody want to know what happened there? Sean, you want to cover that one?
I don't even know where to begin.
Well, what kind of event is it?
Something to do with cupcakes,
Well, what does she have on?
dress,
Kind? Wedding?
yeah.
Hmm?
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So this was our murder mystery dinner theater. It was a wedding theme that year, and the groom got a little angry at the bride. Yeah. It's learning to tell stories, guys. Who's that?
Jared Jackson.
It is. You know who shot it? Jay Lyles. He's a photographer for the Memphis Grizzlies. You know who took that one? One of my 8th graders. Because he saw it in Sports Illustrated.
So is that just a light?
It's that same honeycomb light that we used earlier. Yep. Same one, just tilted it. You guys have seen that one before, and how to shoot it.
Is the auditorium or whatever that you're in, is it dark? I mean,
Oh yeah,
the
pitch
lights
black.
are all off?
Pitch
Okay.
black. I think the ADD has the ability to do this. This is what's called multiple imaging. The idea is it's not Photoshop. It's an actual image that has two or three images laid on top of one another.
Is that what sometimes I've seen, what they call double exposure?
Mhm.
Is
Yep.
that the same?
Same thing. Yep. Looking for something different. No, don't give him that look. He's lazy, okay? That's out of his window of his car. It was raining.
It's pretty cool.
I know it's cool. It's David, so whatever. I love this one. Kindergarten graduation is always the night before high school graduation. High school graduation, I had 4 seniors graduating that had been with me since 7th grade. They come to me the day before kindergarten graduation and say, Carter, you know what? We love you, but can we have one night off? We really don't want to cover kindergarten graduation. I said, oh, you guys want to go out to you guys want to go out? We call it the barn. There's no barn there anymore. It's just a big hayfield where they go and drink. So do you guys want to go to the barn and go get drunk? I mean, you want the night off before high school graduation? Yeah. Why don't you let the little ones, the youngins, that was the term. Why don't you let the youngins go do it? Fine. So I have something on my wall, kind of like that has photos from every year. We call it our Hall of Fame. Has the best photo of the year up there. That's that year's photo because it replaced that overhead shot that you guys saw earlier. She was pissed. Should have showed up. You never know what you're going to get. You never know what's going to happen at an event. Never assume it's not going to be good or there's not going to be good art just because it's little kids. Can y'all tell which one's the diva? It ain't her. It's his shoes. It's the shoes. You ever have high school kids get married? We did, and then we killed one of them off. Ha!
I like the Justin's Bible.
Yes. Of course. I mean, we're Johnston School. It's the way it goes.
Right.
Look to tell stories that other people look at and go, okay, how'd they do that? Guys, that's me. And that's sports. So now we have a sports shoot. We're going to take Sean, and I'm going to pelt him with water balloons. Here is what you're looking for. You're not looking for the water balloon out front of his hand. You're not looking for him to catch the water balloon. You want the water balloon after it's bursted and the energy of the water comes out from behind his hand and either goes past him or hits him in the face and he winces. Any questions?
Are we gonna have a plan?
Yes, that's what we're working on now. Where do we want to put him? You guys know this place a whole lot better than I do. Obviously, we can't throw at him in the gym.
So we want inside or we want outside?
Where would be your best lighting?
Outside.
Outside. It's a water balloon activity.
Yeah.
Okay. What else? Do we want him in direct sunlight? Do we want him in shadow?
What are you asking us for? You're the teacher.
Well, if
Because you're the one that gets to choose.
Well, if we, to me, my issue always is if kids are facing the light, like if they're facing the sun,
He can't see.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
or they're squinting
Mhm.
or whatever, all the things.
Mm-hmm. Keep talking.
I'm gonna be wincing and squinting either way.
He is, because I'm.
True.
You forget I'm a baseball coach. I
Yeah,
can
yeah.
throw about 85 still.
Uh-huh.
see here if this is the one that I'm looking for. It is not. I'm looking for my first place. Is that down here? It is. You're looking for something kind of like that. If it'll play.
Yeah,
Yeah.
There we go. So it's, after it's hit him, it has exploded. Now let's talk about it. Where is your f-stop? Low? Why?
because you see the droplets.
No, that's your shutter speed.
Cause you
Background's
Yeah,
blurred.
that shoot.
Background's blurred. You want as much light as you can get in, right? Shutter speed is fast or slow? Fast. Why?
Because you want to be able to catch.
Because you
the-
got individual droplets of water. Where do you want to focus?
on his hand.
Right there. Here or here, one of the two. Why? Because he can move this a little bit, but this is going to stay still, right? But I don't throw straight anymore. Even when I'm trying to throw at a batter, I don't throw straight. So I would suggest you shoot your servo, because he's going to move a little bit as he's trying to catch. Okay?
Where did they set up?
Now, are you going to shoot in manual? Or are you going to shoot in AV or TV?
Maybe.
AV. That'll work. So lowest f stop. Where do you want your ISO to be?
Probably a
Wherever
little
it
bit
looks
higher.
the best.
A little higher, probably 400, 640, something like that. That way you make sure you get a faster shutter speed. Sound good? And you guys can take a couple of practice photos before we get out there and really get started. So, do you know where I can blow these bad boys up at? Like,
Yes.
you have a water hose connection somewhere? The only rule that I have is I'll throw, but you guys have to pick up the water balloons after he's broke them all. How's that? Because my back is killing me today.
How did we change the manual to? Yes, we'll go down here.
Yeah, he
Okay.
goes to mine.
Yeah.
Sean, just to let you know, I probably won't use all 100 of them,
Oh man.
but we gonna use enough, I promise.
I'm pretty sure we
It's
go
already
down
on
to
it.
the.
Oh, it's already on AV, he's like,
I thought it says manual up at the top, doesn't it? In the upper
It says
right,
AV
upper left.
right here.
So is it manual AV?
Ready? All right. The only thing I will ask is that one of you try to get a frame of me throwing, because for some reason my wife likes to have that. Just to prove that I'm the one that threw them. I don't know why.
oh, it's this up here, she's saying this, where it's like,
Hey Julie, what's Easton doing this summer? Oh gosh, everything. He's been to I don't know how many wrestling camps. And there's weights every morning and football practice and he loves it.
oh, he just put his phone in there. So he,
Okay, well, I'll never.
he was on my list to call. I did function and I saw all this and he comes up with
What
this
is he doing?
work. I thought he was real about that and then it was, school came out too.
Oh, okay. I don't even know anything about that. Like what is your SAE or what is he supposed to do or
I didn't earn my update, it's for those who've ever done. Sean, I was trying to get ready for the boys'
Okay.
4x1.
you'll have to talk to him about
And
some
state
more, 'cause I
track.
don't think he even knows what he's doing.
And I was
He's not
trying
really
to get a
ask
different
questions,
angle
he just-
because on qualifying day, I took from quarter and Tina Row
Yeah.
and on. So then
I love
on
others in the room.
Huh.
middling day, the next day,
Oh,
in
is
the
he quiet
finals,
too?
I went to
Beat off each other.
just
Oh.
Gavin's
Is that
camp.
the spot? Ethan
So I got all these
Huh,
cool
I didn't
pictures
see
of
that
Gavin
coming.
like warming up all by himself and I was
Hours.
ready for Jasper and Gavin's handoff. And then I hit this
Mm-hmm.
instead of this, so I put in video. Told Miles, I
Or
went back over there,
Miles.
told Miles, they're like,
Yeah, he's a good kid.
I did, I was like, I'm some really good.
Yeah, I think I messed it a couple times
by
by SAE,
myself.
but I don't think he even knows what he's doing.
But when the actual race started, I get that, like, seriously, I'm like, it doesn't have to catch you supposed to do a qualifying day.
Oh,
I messed
yeah.
up.
I think they employ like
That's not
40
a good
kids
thing.
or
I feel like it
something,
should be a
yeah.
button that
Yeah.
switches from video to,
so
you
yeah,
know,
he's still doing
camera.
lots of
Like, I feel
wrestling.
like that's an easy button to push.
Either
Yeah,
next
it
week or
is.
the week
Yeah.
after he goes to
But,
camp in
you
St.
know,
Louis
I
all
learned
week.
my lesson.
So that's gonna be new for him. He's usually just been to like 2 or 3 day camps where
Nice. Yeah.
it's been supposed to be like
I'm not
something
used
where
to
they
calling
like
you
had
guys seniors
senses
and
and
sophomores yet.
profit.
Yeah.
Like it hasn't sunken in my like.
I'm not used to calling myself a
When
sophomore.
I
yet.
showed up to basketball, I was like, wait,
Yeah.
there's no expenses normally. When we were at their first shootout a few weeks ago, I was visiting with Mrs. Warren.
I swear he was a senior last year.
And I was like, yeah, I was like, basically it's
'Cause I
all
mean, like we have
freshmen and
dogs and we have
snacks
chickens,
are
but we don't
all
sell
new.
anything.
She was like, eggs. She's like,
We don't they just eat them ourselves.
he's not a
I bet
sophomore
we
yet.
eat
Don't
like
like,
a day
they're
on
not
those.
sophomores,
So, yeah.
juniors, seniors yet. They're
Yeah,
still-
I'm a freshman
Right.
until the school
Yeah,
starts.
yeah.
I'm
Okay.
just trying to come talk to you about it.
This is still basically.
Weird being called a senior.
Every day.
Okay, so
Okay.
you need to start working.
It's just time to go over there.
She is not
It's tomorrow, Friday.
Well, it takes
Oh,
college
duh.
chemistry with her, so just keep
Okay,
an
I
eye
might
on
just have to say
her.
a
Say,
minute
oh yeah,
for
it's
weights or
Proverbs
something.
that
Well,
you
she
really
said-
can't, or you have to come back and teach college chemistry.
Yeah.
I will be in there.
She said that she's actually
I mean, that's a compromise.
Yeah.
Mr. Kendrick's done every year. She could do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Teach a couple classes. No way.
I mean,
Yeah, like
saying
she
she's
made
baking,
pre-com
like,
with this.
it
Well,
doesn't
we're in
affect
college
you or
too,
something.
so.
Oh, wow.
So, I wish it would. I told him, I said, I wish it would work out where he could just take pre-com this year with Tatum. Because it's only going to be her. But he hasn't had biology yet, and he needs to do biology with him.
Like, towards the beginning of the year, I did not like Mr. Kendrick. I won't lie.
He kind of grows on you.
He grew on me
Yeah.
quite a lot.
Yeah,
Actually.
yeah. He really like. I think I like. No, I'm sure your mom's probably told you, but like he is so different. I don't know what he was when he was. He was like, but he's always been a teacher though that wants you to learn it. Like
Exactly.
doesn't just teach it and then I did my lecture. You know, you guys should know this.
Yeah.
I mean, he will sit there and he wants to make sure that you know how to do, which that's what I've always liked about him.
Like whenever I finally like broke through and like started asking questions though.
Yeah,
it
and then I
was
mean
like,
he eats it up too. He loves it when you ask him a question.
Yeah.
He like goes crazy, but
Yeah.
he's another one that I've been telling.
That sounds so
You can't retire again right before Mile because Maggie didn't get him for college. She had to have Miss Biggs for college algebra. So she did college algebra and then she didn't do pre-calc because she was no, I can't do it. And we should have Miss Biggs as a person, but not as a teacher.
Yeah.
And then so then Mr. Kendrick came back after Maggie graduated. So now
He's just gonna be avoiding the Brock.
I know, what the heck? He says he could, he'll do tutoring. I said, well, when we call you, we need tutoring. He's like, I'll do it done. I was like, okay, you say that now, but when we call you,
Yeah.
you might need him again. Cause I don't know how he'll, he'll have to do like college algebra or something just through like NCMC or, rough, or maybe through the little launch stuff that they have.
What about we found a big one?
Well, I know you're not gonna like the old camera, but I think you're gonna like the 300 millimeter.
Yeah, I like the
lens.
lens. Pictures of that.
What's wrong with them? Is it just those? But maybe once you load them though. Well then, you and Susan need to find a grant.
Is he
to
gonna
get
be
a
on
new
yearbook
lens.
or what's he doing?
Just pictures, I guess.
just pictures?
He just takes lots of pictures for it. Well, because it doesn't work in his, like sophomores don't take yearbook. Sophomores don't take yearbook with Susan. He'll be in 2 of Susan's classes, so he'll be able to take all kinds of photos and she'll let him do stuff.
I gotta
Anyway.
just retire from all sports.
But there isn't technically, like, it doesn't work into the sophomore schedules to actually take the yearbook class.
I know that feeling.
Yeah, but she'll he'll take a lot of photos and then, cause he has personal finance with her and then the podcast class with her
Might
too,
feel
so.
injury or two.
Sit on the sidelines
I
and
must
take
do
photos.
both.
Like when we play Brickers in
Yours and
Keatsville.
yours should be both.
Yeah, we have a dual
Right.
copyright.
Do what?
When we play Brickers in Keatsville, I was like, I'm hurt.
Can't play tonight,
So
I mean,
I-
you
Can't
just
play
take
tonight. I got.
photos.
Oh, I gave you the camera. I was like, what
Oh,
do
yeah.
I just do
Oh, it's
with
right
my
here, so
camera?
Is this the
Yeah.
football
No,
team? No,
that's
that's
ours.
pretty good. It's right here, if you just do function.
I knew it was easy, and like this is why I can't remember. Oh,
Okay, if you just do function, then it brings up like a whole, wait, no.
and it's down in the bottom.
Yeah, and
Yes,
yes, function
that's-
brings up
I
a
knew
whole
it
menu,
should've
yeah,
been.
and then I just look through there, yeah.
Okay,
And then
function.
it has all of your.
Excellent. I'm gonna shut this recording off.
Cool. Okay.
So yeah, you're good.
Thank you.
Is it copyright?
No,
Then you're done.
no, I know, and that's what I'm saying, but my husband